It is the RIOT podcast. Happy Monday to you.
So Hudson made it through his first week last week. And now we're ready for a new. And now it's old hat, right? It's
right
just
now,
it's
it's right at the beginning of the podcast where I talk about my dreams of sleeping through the show, and I don't know. I guess a week in now, I'm afraid of that still. So I haven't gotten too comfortable yet.
That'll go away probably after this week.
That you think?
Yeah,
that I'll finally find myself just waking up at 5 a.m. naturally?
I think it's just because it's still so new that it's probably the thing that affects everybody the most. Like, you just don't want to be late when you've changed your schedule. But when you change your schedule, start getting up so early in the morning, there's no one there to catch you.
Right, because everybody else is asleep also. It's just if Nikki gets here and I'm not here, and then it's already too late.
That's right.
But you know what else it was? It was over the week. My first weekend coming off of... being on a different schedule on the weekend. I slept in on the weekend, of course. Why would I wake up at 5 a.m. on the weekend?
No need for that. Well, you'll hear Hudson unpack that story a bit.
Yes, that's coming right up. That's literally the first thing we talk about. We also talk about a new FDA-approved they call it weight management.
Weight management shot.
You're managing how much weight you lose is how it works. And we've got...
If you're managing to lose anything while on this.
Yes, and we've got the whole idea of how the commercial will play out. I think it's already... We can all picture it, can't we?
We can.
We talk about... I think this was Nikki's favorite. We talked about the new porta-potty replacement.
I don't know if it's my favorite. It's just I just don't understand it. And you have to look at the picture. My favorite from this morning, if you put it in the podcast, is this apartment for $1,600 a month in Brooklyn. And we posted it at riot.radiou.com. If you just go to our Facebook page, which is at RadioU Riot. My favorite is because Hudson, I think it was even off air, was like, where do you put the bed? Because this apartment is so weird. And then comments on people posting were like, where do you put the bed?
Yeah. And I saw somebody was like, a lot of apartments and tiny homes, they'll just use a bed that folds into the wall.
Well,
and it's like, this one doesn't even have space for that.
I don't think it does either.
I don't think there's a spot where the bed wouldn't be either blocking the fridge, like the fridge door, the shower, the stove door, or the bathroom door, or just the door to enter in.
The shower's right in the kitchen, and kitchen is not even the right word.
Right.
It's just a... What is it when it's a studio? But it's a weird looking
studio. It's like a kitchenette.
There's a kitchenette in there. So when you're done with the podcast, go to Radio U Riot on Facebook and you can watch and see what it looks like.
Maybe we're thinking about this all wrong. Maybe you sleep in the shower because it is like a shower bathtub.
Or you sleep on the couch.
You'd have to curl up because it's not that big.
I think if you had a couch that pulls out, that'd be the only way. But we don't live there, so we don't have to really worry.
We're just trying to map it out. Maybe we'll get a follow-up story one day of the person who takes over the house.
I don't know. I'd be like, it's not me, I promise. And I would just be quiet about it. If I lived
You'd probably just be a little bit embarrassed. You definitely wouldn't want to have anybody over.
No, I mean,
you can't entertain.
It's cool, but it's just so weird, and it's so expensive for so weird.
Yeah, but to be in New York, can you really put a price on that?
You can, and we do, so that's why we're not there.
Right. The other story that's my favorite today is figuring out what the Carolina squat was.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Carolina squat.
Take your guesses, and it's about halfway through the podcast, and you can see if you're right.
Let's see if you got it correct.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast today.
We'll see you next time. It is the Riot.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
It is Monday, right?
It is. If not, you were really off yesterday.
Well, that's actually...
You never came in.
I had a dream, and I'm not ever going to make the show Dream Talk with Hudson. One, I don't have a lot of dreams, but I did have one last night.
Yeah.
Where I slept through the show.
Aww.
And I called, and you were not happy in that call.
You could tell? Or?
Yeah, I could tell. But I slept completely through the entire, by the time I woke up and called you, the show would have been over.
Oh, that's the worst.
And I think it's pretty funny how, I can't lucid dream. I can't control what goes on, but my dumb body is
afraid.
You've been on the show for a week, and the best thing it can think of in the world of possibilities that is the dream world What if you slept through the whole show? What if you could just sleep as long as you wanted to?
It would be upsetting, but let's just say if it ever did happen, I wouldn't be mad. It would just be like, why can't I get a hold of him? Because that is the worst. It's hard. You're just always afraid you're going to oversleep.
Right.
And if you're afraid you're going to oversleep, you're going to go the whole way with it.
Right. Yeah, you're not just going to...
miss the whole show, and they'll never get a hold of you until the end, and then it looks like you just turn your phone off.
Yep. And the funny thing is, like, if you did sleep through it, no matter if you woke up a minute after the show started or after the show was completely over, you would wake up the same way. You'd be like, oh my God. You know, like you would just freak out.
I missed it.
As all that extra sleep you got would not pay off because of how you would have to wake up when you looked at the clock.
Flush that out, all right?
Yeah, we don't need that.
All that negativity, you know, we would be disappointed if you missed a show, but you get so many that you get to miss, so it's okay.
All right. It's bound to happen one time, I feel.
Well,
but I never miss work. I never call off sick or anything,
well,
so it's just going to be an accident that I can't control.
This is way earlier, so it's way different. But the bigger thing is just to always remember, because like sometimes you'll turn your ringers off or it'll be still like nighttime for everybody else.
Yeah.
So just making sure that someone can, like, it still rings through to your phone.
Yeah. Well, I have I have two alarms.
Do not disturb on?
I do.
You do on your phone?
Yes. So that could be a problem.
Yeah.
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Times are tough when it comes for housing. You know, like you can't buy
this
anything.
This one makes me mad.
Yeah, it does. It really does. We might have to post this. It is an apartment in Brooklyn, New York, as opposed to the other Brooklyns, and it's caught our eye because it has the shower is in the kitchen. The shower is neatly nestled straight across from the stove, right between a very minuscule fridge and the sink with all the cupboards.
So basically, you know, if you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and it's like this is the cabinet/sink thing that's already built.
Right.
You get the kitchenette there. You get an actual pretty sizable shower. Like it's pretty big.
Yeah. The shower is bigger than the fridge.
And then a small, tiny fridge with this place that has a very short, like not very tall closet that doesn't have a door. Like this is all weird.
Yeah, this looks like.
Oh, actually, did you see the overview? They say luxurious or weird, kitchen or bathroom vibes. You decide.
Wow, they're trying.
They're just going with it.
For $1,600 a month, you could have this. It doesn't even say how many square feet. It is a negligible amount of square feet. Yeah, they couldn't measure. It's square inches.
This price for a spacious loft apartment is rare for the area. Unit comes with separate kitchen and with windows and sectioned off sleeping area with toilet. That is bad. And the toilet room looks bad too.
It does. It's one thing when you're trying to do a little with a lot with this space, or a lot with a little, I guess, with the space. But then you look at some of the pictures. Actually, I've got a different angle for the shower.
Yeah.
And even the shower is disgusting looking when you actually look at it.
Well,
they did not try cleaning.
Sometimes you can't. Like you just can't clean
there's
enough.
Only so much you can do.
Oh, that's sad. That's just, and you know what's bad is that's probably like, wow, this really is spacious.
Yeah, it's for $1,600. That's a deal in New York.
You just have to store everything in your shower in your kitchen.
There is nothing to store.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Not too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on RadioU.
What'd you get into this weekend, Nikki?
I went to the movie theater.
The real
in-person movie theater.
Air-conditioned movie theater.
Yep, that's it. It's been a year and a half, and it doesn't look like they fixed anything from before COVID.
Oh, wait, you went to the one, is the parking lot still
It is trashed even more. It is like, you wonder for your car's safety when you go in because the parking lot is so bad.
It's like you feel like you should park
Somewhere
in a
else.
different, at one of the restaurants nearby and just walk through, but then who knows what'll happen. You might fall in a crater.
Fall in.
Yeah.
I don't want one of those things to happen where you're like, yeah, they fell in this hole and then we never saw them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went on Saturday night. I was surprised there was only 2 other people in the whole theater.
Really?
So I thought it would be more crowded than it was. You had a couple of new releases over the weekend. I mean, it's not like it's the strongest lineup of movies.
Not yet. I think movies, well, I guess Quiet Place was kind of them kind of coming back, But I feel like when the Black Widow comes out, that's
That'll
what
be more
everybody's waiting for,
crowded.
when it's like, finally movies are back again.
So I thought what was awesome was the bringing my concessions food to the seat thing, which was really nice. They have like racks where you could go pick up your concession stuff.
Okay.
Or you can order it like in person if you want.
Yeah.
But I don't do that anymore. So
You're too good for that.
I just can't. So I had it sent to my seat, which was great. And I had it put into like the trailers were already going. So the lights were dimmed and stuff. But the person comes up and I was way up high, and then the other two people were down below. So just me and, someone else, and we're just the only people in the row. And so this lady comes and brings up all the stuff like in a big bucket sort of thing.
Okay.
And then she gets to my row, and you could tell she forgets which number like it's going to. Which seat? So then in the dark, she goes to find her paperwork to make sure I'm the only one.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
the only one in the
Unless
whole area.
a ghost ordered.
I just was like, I tried to slow myself down. I was like, don't say anything.
Yeah, because the other thing is like you shouting in the theater. Hey, over here.
But I wanted to tell her, like, it's just me.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
me.
mine.
It's me. You don't have to even look at your papers because she took a long time. But it was nice having it brought. Like, that was great. I am worried, though, that our movie theater has. Have you been to that one in a while?
Well, not at least in a year.
Okay.
I know it's been a really long time since I've been to that
I don't know
one.
if it's just me, but I tried 3 different taps of like the soda fountain. They have 3 sets of them.
Their soda fountain is also a bit one of their issues.
It's a water fountain.
Yeah.
With a tiny bit of syrup. Because I went through Diet Dr. Pepper, they had this Sobe thing, and then Diet Pepsi, and not one of them, the mix was right. I was just like, I can't get a drink to work for me from this whole thing. And that hasn't worked since I think maybe I feel like 10 years like that I've been going to this place.
That was always hit or miss. They don't have a Coke Freestyle. They don't even have Coke, do they? It's just Pepsi products. Yeah.
But they have a lot of choices. It's just none of them have the syrup that comes through.
Right, yeah.
And most of the ice stuff was broken too.
Oh, man.
So that's not anything new. We've had that problem for a long time.
That's not like they cut back on the budget because of the being shut down for so long.
You thought they would have fixed it.
You might have. There's a part of you that thinks, they always say if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And they had a lot of time to lean the last year or so. But they also didn't have the money, maybe. So
yeah, I don't know. But sitting there, though, and I had my concessions that the person brought to me. And I was just sitting there drinking my very flat, very watery soda. I thought, I really miss this. I really missed going to the theater.
You know what I thought? It was a couple weeks back. I was thinking about going to the movies for some reason.
Yeah.
And going to that specific theater. And the thing I almost it didn't quite make me tear up, but I got a little emotional. I was like, I can't wait to do that again. And it's because that video, they'll play the video of the owner of the theater before.
Yeah, he always talks on the thing.
And I thought of the video where he I don't know if you remember seeing that one or if they still play it, where he reclines in the chair too quickly and he falls off of the screen.
Not seen that
There was one time I saw that, and there was somebody who had to have been maybe partaking in some kind of substances before the movie, and they lost it when that happened. It was too funny for them.
Yeah,
but so I always think of that moment. But I do miss. I miss seeing that guy.
Well,
it made me a little emotional. I wonder what he's doing. He's probably been so bored owning all those movie theaters the last year.
Well, it's been open for a while, but that was my first trip back to the movie theater, and I had a good time because stuff still wasn't fixed, and that was comforting.
Yeah, it just brings back the memories.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
We've done it. This is something that we can all take credit for, I think, in a way. We've spurred Disney on to make a Cruella movie sequel.
Oh, yay.
Because the first one did so well in the past 2 weeks at the box office. What was it, 3rd this weekend?
It was. It made $11.2 million. I think this would probably be the U.S. box office over this past weekend.
Yep, and that's its second weekend in theaters, and you can also stream it on Disney Plus with Premier Access, and it made that much money. So that's a pretty solid showing. And so Disney has now said they've got Emma Stone back to reprise the role. Director Craig Gillespie and screenwriter Tony McNamara. They're getting the whole band back together.
They're all getting back
for
together.
this major success of a movie to make a second one.
Cruella, they can call it Still Cruella. Still Cruel.
Cruella Still I don't know.
Cruella Still De Vil.
Still De Vil.
I feel like there's a lot of creativity we can try to figure out with the name.
What if they just made a Cruella sequel, but it was just 101 Dalmatians?
Well, that is.
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Is before the Dalmatians, so are they trying to squeeze another one in before
Apparently,
the Dalmatians starts?
To be fair, I haven't seen Cruella, so I don't know exactly where it ends, but in the timeline, it seems like if this is her origin story, how much more story is there to tell between 101 Dalmatians and the end of Cruella?
At the very end, there's is it the Easter egg thing that you say, like where you wait till after the credits and you see the puppies.
Oh, you do?
You see the two puppies who fall in love later and have the many other puppies. So maybe they'll include that in the story.
Man, aren't you looking forward to this?
I haven't seen the first one yet.
Yeah, me neither.
So I don't know. It's probably not that bad, but it's at $43 million. It doesn't tell you though, like how much it's made from streaming, but they just say box office wise, it's at $43 million.
What if they did a Cruella De Vil movie? It is actually 101 Dalmatians, but it's told from her perspective so that we can understand her even more
with the puppies all
why
in
she's
it.
Misunderstood and why she actually was justified in trying to go after the puppies and whatnot.
I don't know if anybody else feels this way because Disney just, you can only do so many things with so many movies. But in a lot of their stuff, they now twist around the villain part. And that was so ingrained when you were younger and you were growing up. Like that was the bad character.
You hated the bad guy,
And then they change it up and you're like, well, wait, I understand. And so you feel like really weird, like, wait, I'm supposed to not be for the villain.
Yeah.
But you can understand them more.
I thought that same thing because I remember thinking in some movies, more as I got older, not when I watched them initially, but it was like, well, maybe we should take it a little easier on certain the villains in the movies. But then when they go all the way to like, here's actually why their perspective is like, as they continue to be evil, you understand why they made the turn in the first place with these backstories. But then as they continue to go on with those evil ways, you start to, when they are given several off-ramps to change, that's when it's like, why are we still trying to make them seem sympathetic?
That's why Cruella was really hard for me because I remember you're like, no, the puppies.
Right.
She wanted to kill the puppies.
Are we supposed to
just
not have sympathy for the puppies now?
I'll see what they do, but it's made enough. So yeah, Cruella 2 is supposed to be made and everybody's back on board.
It just seems like they can pump out any of these. Like what kind of re-adaptations is Disney making where they're actually getting the red light? You know what I mean? Where somebody could say, hey guys, what if we took this old property, made it into something new, and the people at Disney are going, no, we don't want to do that. It doesn't seem like that. I mean, I guess we wouldn't hear about it, but it sure seems like they're just saying yes to everything.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Pop quiz for you. Mm-hmm. You've got 3 guesses. What is the Carolina squat?
Is it a chili pepper? Is it like the Reaper?
If that was the name, first of all, that's not the right answer.
Like, you know how if it's leaving your body?
Right, that's what I'm thinking. That would be a horrible name.
Is it a wrestling move?
No, it is not a wrestling move.
So Carolina squat, is it a drink?
Actually, that's not a bad one.
I don't know anything else.
It does kind of sound like it could be maybe made with some moonshine or something. Because when I saw this, I thought definitely either a bathroom thing or like I imagine you going out in like the Smoky Mountains somewhere and there's an abandoned shack and you squat there, you take it over.
You're taking over.
But it's actually none of those things.
It's like if a friend, it's a greeting, like, hey, come squat like over here with me.
Because they're so hospitable. It's the South.
Carolina.
Yeah, come on. Why don't you just have a Carolina squat?
Yes, absolutely, but it's not that.
It's like a meal. Listen, when you have a bunch of people over.
Whatever you tell me it really is nothing as good as what we came up with.
It actually really isn't. It is kind of interesting, but they're calling it the Carolina squat. It's where you lower down the back of your pickup truck like several inches so that it's basically almost down to the ground, but then you raise the front. which I guess it makes it look more like a monster truck, kind of.
So it's called.
You can see how that would be very unsafe, though. I don't think that takes a lot of brain power to understand.
It's also called the California Lean and the Tennessee Tilt.
Yeah, so it depends on where you're doing it.
It's a growing trend in the truck community, but not everybody likes it because it can be dangerous to modify your vehicle.
Yeah,
that way.
I saw this story. So the reason it's in the news now is in the Carolina House of Representatives, they passed a law that would ban it. And so now it has to go to the Senate in Carolina. North Carolina. But previously, I had seen this in the news because certain, what do they call them? Custom auto shops were refusing to do it because they're saying, one, it's unsafe. It reduces your visibility. It messes up with the aerodynamics of your vehicle. And with your truck tilted back like that, it makes the oil all go to the back. Oh. So you have to really mess with the oil to make that work properly. So it's bad for your car. I guess we can all have our own opinions, but it kind of looks really dumb.
Well, no.
But that's not why they...
Easy there. You don't understand. We're not from Tennessee or the Carolinas.
Yeah,
so we're also not in the truck community, so we don't tilt.
The truck community says...
they were saying, though, that you're also... The bigger safety concern is you lose visibility because the front of your vehicle's so raised up.
And already when you're in some of these big trucks and they have such high... hood, the hood goes up so high anyways... Yeah, it does make it very difficult to see.
What do you think works out then? Say Nikki and Hudson are taking a road trip, and we're going through North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we have a Carolina tilt. And we have that, or we have the Carolina squat in our truck.
Come on down to Carolina. We'll give you a Carolina squat.
Do they, and if you're not from there, do you get a fine? Do you get a ticket? Or do they take your vehicle? Or is it like when you have too much tint on your windows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably to where they just don't want you.
The shops won't
do it, and so they're banned from doing that. But it is possible that maybe not something that they would pull you over for. But you know how at least it used to be with texting and driving, they couldn't pull you over if they saw you on your phone just for that. But they could find something else to pull you over for and add on the texting. So maybe if you're from out of state, they would you were speeding and it's a modified illegal
vehicle
modification, so maybe you get dinged for that somehow.
Well, that's it. The Carolina squat, which also does sound like the new wing flavor.
That's right.
And this car
that's the one that'll really, you'll be in the bathroom at Buffalo Wild Wings for weeks with that one.
It'll get you.
It'll get you.
And the cops will get you in North Carolina, too, if this goes through.
Watch out. You've been warned.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Did you see this story where it's a 30-year-old mom? Her name is Casey Garcia, and she got arrested because she was posing as her 13-year-old daughter at school.
I wasn't sure when I first started reading, was she just posing as a 13-year-old? But no, she was taking over her daughter's seat and stuff to pose as her during the day to show hey, the security at this school, this middle school that her daughter was going to was really not good enough.
Yeah.
Or it was also just she says, an experiment to show teachers aren't really paying attention to you.
Right.
And, wearing masks or having the freedom to wear a mask if you want to, even if they're not required, really kind of left teachers not looking at you.
Right.
And kind of paying attention to you, but instead you're just another student there.
Well, the first thing that made me laugh was that she was arrested because they called it trespassing, what she was doing. She got arrested at the end of the day. She had gone through the whole school day, and I think it was the final period. One of the teachers noticed
and asked
and said something, so then she was arrested, and she was also arrested for tampering with government records and an unrelated traffic violation. I like that.
She had something else already going.
It wasn't just that she had, snuck into the school.
Hey, you got to remember, if you have an outstanding
you're
thing
taking
that you
a chance.
haven't taken care of.
I guess, in a way, if she made it all the way to the last period, she was proven right in a sense. But then again, they did eventually catch her. And did you look at the pictures?
Of her?
I guess she should feel good about this. She's 30 years old, and she, especially when you see the picture of her daughter, she really could pass
She
for
could.
the 13-year-old.
And she wore a hoodie and she had a mask on.
Right.
So you're covering up a lot. She said that she dyed her hair a little bit darker, memorized her daughter's ID number and just kind of some of her mannerisms.
Yep.
And she said that the teachers were more upset and like the only time they really talked to you was to tell you to get off your phone in class. And otherwise, they really didn't interact.
Huh. Yeah, that is, it's an interesting little experiment she did there.
Well, now with the arrest, I don't know how interesting it is. Actually, she's using that as a like, hey, see, you're still not talking about the school safety. Now
Right.
it's become her. So she was released on $7,800 bond. She said, I spent the day in police custody, but my question still remains, are they safe in school?
Yeah.
Because anyone could just get in.
If they look exactly the same as somebody else.
And
do you
memorize
think
the number.
Right, yeah. I mean, I guess that's not so hard for somebody with bad intentions to do.
Sure.
So maybe we
Yeah, you
shouldn't
could
even
find
be
a way to get in.
We shouldn't even be telling them this. What if
Like-
somebody with bad intentions is listening right now? And we
what,
just
get
shared
in
the
here?
story and told them how simple it is. Oh,
Hey,
no.
With how many places now are really looking for help and for like students to come back in and all that stuff, they'd be welcoming anyone to come in. It's like, come on in.
Just
do the
join the
job.
team. Yeah. It's you mentioned it does kind of sound like a Lifetime movie, doesn't it?
It does. It feels like.
Except something would have to go wrong, like somebody would have to get hurt.
Well, it still has the case aspect because now the mom's been arrested.
Right.
So like they could show the courtroom stuff with
Oh,
that.
yeah, there you go.
The town like really rallying
You're exactly
behind
right.
her
Yes.
because she's a mom.
There's a big, or she gets really like chastised by the other moms, and when she was just trying to do the right thing,
The
but
other
all the like she
students-
gets kicked out of the mom's group.
It seems like the other students' parents are pretty interested in what she did, and
Yeah.
they feel like that was a good social experiment or just experiment showing like, hey, it really is unsafe.
Anyone can under-promise and over-deliver. Except these two. The Riot RadioU.
It's time to move on from sports to one of Nikki's favorite topics. Urinals.
Porta potties.
Urinals for women, specifically.
This is an odd story, and it took a lot of looking at some of the pictures to kind of. I still don't even know if I really understand it.
No, I don't know how you would use this.
But it's basically just talking about two ex-University of Bristol students. They have a big like bar culture in that area, and so they have a lot of public restrooms and stuff like
and
outside that you can use.
And yeah, I think the idea is if you've ever gone to a music festival or something like that, the porta pot lines do get enormous.
Well,
but that's
they were
partly
also-
because there's a lot of people there.
But they were saying it's the why are the women's lines so long?
Right.
Compared to the men's, and they said, "Is it a design issue?" But I still don't know.
I don't know.
Is the
Is it the
answer.
design that you're taking? Like, are you just confused when you walk into a porta pot?
I'm confused
and it
by
takes you
this.
6 seconds instead of 1 second to figure out.
This looks like a bunch of the walls are put up by like gym mats. They look
Yeah.
like gym mats,
Why
and then
are-
you walk in like a fun zone center, and then
It looks like a maze almost.
It does, and it's called like a pedestal sort of toilet.
Okay.
And they say that it's semi-private. You can't see anything from the waist down, but you could see
wait.
your.
No funnels are involved, and it's.
I don't know. It's such a weird porta potty thing. I don't know.
What is going on in porta pots that I don't know about with the funnels?
In this article,
Does that mean like the funnel to pull the stuff out when they clean it?
Yes, I think so.
That must be what it is.
It's just a smaller footprint sort of thing. But I just keep reading it, and they're like, well, why are women taking so long in porta potties? I don't want to. No one wants to. You go in and you get out. You don't touch anything.
And can I point out, I don't think it's just porta pots. Like women's bathrooms, if you go to a stadium and it's just like their bathrooms are the same and the women's line will be longer, even though there's like if you're at a sports thing,
It always
there's more
is.
men, but the women have a longer line.
They say they were asked to solve a real life problem and they knew straight away what they wanted to do. And that was how to work around making it be not such a long line for the bathrooms.
Wouldn't you love to be in that meeting, like the meeting of
focus
the minds
group?
there, where they were like, I guess maybe this was a assignment at college or whatever, and they're partners, and they go, Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yes. Porta-potts.
Porta-potties, that's it. It's a pedestal
Yeah.
one.
But the thing that got me the most out of all of it is that it's semi-private. Is that what is holding you up? Is that people can't see you from the waist down?
Well, maybe it is the shame that everybody can see. Like, how long have you been in the bathroom?
Right. If people can see your face, you're really going to speed it up a little bit.
I'm not
instead of just being able to see your shoes.
Again, these are just like their class project thing, or not. They're not students anymore,
right.
but that's what they're trying to do. But I don't know if I could. I don't even know how to.
No, I don't know if this is going to take off. I really think in the United States, maybe Britain is more free and more maybe there's just something about it, but we want privacy with our porta-potts. I think that's one of the top rules. There's porta-potts. There's a lot that goes down in there that you don't want.
It's a porta-potty.
Porta-pot.
It's a potty.
What if I just call it a porta-john?
That's also
that
too.
works.
It's called No, and it's called Hold It.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
Something that I feel like I understand more and more as I get older is that when you're a kid and your parents are trying to figure out how to discipline you and stuff when you do something wrong, that it is so hard for them to figure that out.
What's right for you and what's not.
Because I think a lot of times, I know with my parents, there's so much, I guess it's just frustration. Because I was I wasn't bad.
What were you going to say?
I wasn't bad, selling drugs or anything. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting in legal trouble, but I was a problem.
Well, remember, we've said in the past too with other DJs how if you're a DJ, you were probably really mouthy when you were younger.
Yes. So you have a real sarcastic streak with you. And you have a problem with authority, probably. And that's totally us. That was totally me from a young age. And so, when your parents tell you the same thing over and over and over again and you don't listen, then of course they're going to get frustrated and angry. But what I understand more as I get older is when you are trying to get people to listen to you, getting angry at them isn't necessary. It'll make them feel bad, but that's not the best way to get them to change their behavior. It just makes them feel bad about their behavior. And so it's so interesting how it feels like we get this in our minds that God is angry with us, that Jesus is he sees us and he sees the things we're doing and it's I'm so mad at them and he just wants to strike you down. But we know that again, we kind of understand, we try to keep it in check where we don't want to be angry at people because it doesn't make it work to get them to behave, to get them to follow you. So why would God be angry at you if he wants what's best for you? Jesus isn't upset with you. God isn't angry at you and looking down, trying to strike you down and just his blood is boiling over every bad decision you make. God loves you through all of that. He's not you can go talk to him about, I know I messed up. And he's not going to be well, you idiot. Why? I hate you. And you're never leaving the house again. That's not what God is doing. Jesus is ready to help you in the best way that's right for you of how to make better choices, of how to get through life. And when you are struggling with stuff, Jesus is right there with you to pull you through it. And if you want to find out more about that, the first thing you can do is just start talking to God. Say, hey, God, I want to find out more about you. Jesus, I want you in my life. I know you're not mad at me. I want to know more about what that means. And let him talk to you. And you can also go to RadioU.com/free gift.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
I can just see the ads now. Yep, it's somebody who appears overweight and they're out in a field. Or no, wait, hold on. It's black and white at first.
Yeah.
They're all weary looking. They're trying to play with their kids, but they can't really keep up. And they're, you kind of see them lean over, breathing hard on their knees. And then prescription Wegovy, and everything becomes so colorful, and all of a sudden the person has lost 50 pounds and they're throwing a frisbee and the dog is catching it. Ask your doctor about Wegovy,
So
which is the new weight management drug that has just been approved by the FDA.
Now, you have to really look into like the terms. They're saying weight management because they want to claim like this could be like weight loss.
Right.
But basically, they also call it weight management therapy. And Wegovy is a shot that you take. I think it's in your stomach.
Geez.
You basically just use this shot and it's supposed to help you do whatever they claim. And I don't know exactly what that is.
Well, here's a study posted earlier this year that with over 30% of the group dropping over 20% of their body weight.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty huge.
That's good.
But I don't know if you know exactly like what else they're doing with that, like were the people also happening to diet and exercise along with this. They would always say that in the commercial, they'd have to say that.
Yeah, that you would have to still do
this
other
is
stuff.
not a substitute for healthy diet
They
and
say that
exercise.
they're trying to say that this shot for weight loss is the same to achieve the numbers that you could receive that previously was only possible through weight loss surgery.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what they're trying to give as an alternative to instead of having weight loss stuff done.
Yeah. Well, and like you always should be hesitant about putting drugs in your body, but also you should be hesitant about
the surgery too.
About having surgery.
I know. It's like you can't.
That would be good to avoid it.
You can't. They said the FDA considered the results of a 4 separate double-blind placebo-controlled clinical trials.
Wow. They went all out.
They did. It ran for 68 weeks, involved 4,500 patients who received either Wegovy or a placebo for weight loss stuff.
So, and it worked, I guess. Worked good enough for the FDA to approve it. So this is big, Nikki.
It is, but
we can eat whatever we want now.
Hey, it's small. It's not big. Not that
it's
there's
getting
anything
smaller.
wrong with anything.
Yeah.
My concern or question would be, because I had seen, we really do just see everything on TikTok.
We do, so much.
I'd seen this on TikTok, and people had said there'd been sometimes some concerns over side effects.
Oh, yeah. They don't list that here, do they?
It just depends on how well you do with certain things to see if it'd be something that even work for you. Oh, yeah, I see some. And some are words I don't like to say on air.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I haven't scrolled down. Oh, no.
It's all of it.
I'll say it. Nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea.
Pain, all of the stuff.
Yeah. But is it worth it to lose 20 or what was it? 30%, 20% of your body weight?
How do you think you're losing it? Exactly why. You're losing it and you don't feel like you can eat because you're so sick to your stomach.
Yeah.
Good one.
But this is the proper way to do that, not the like harmful stuff that you're not supposed to do.
So this is the weight loss Wegovy shot that they've been talking about everywhere.
I think the jury's still out on if we does this just mean we can have breakfast cake every day if we want?
And have the shot too? I don't know.
I wonder how much too you have to your body mass index would have to be for you to be prescribed this.
I think it's very similar if they would suggest to you maybe weight loss surgery or if you were looking for
so you'd have to be kind of more up there.
But if you were looking for it, they would provide this maybe as an alternative to try too.
Right. Well, it's a game changer. That's what they say.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no, I missed it. Do it again.
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.